ended yesterday's stream watching this video here.
Didn't do it. Hey, another thing, that ref right there, that's the same dude that called me. The week later, he said, "Hey, bro, my bad." He started to feel.
Yeah.
I said, "Bro, I ain't doing nothing, nigga. I'm telling the nigga what happened."
Right. Ah, shit, that man was in your grill too.
I said, "Hey, that's right there." I said, "Hey, bro, if you don't get the fuck out of my motherfucking face, I'm gonna beat your ass."
Bruh. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why did he close his legs?
Because he was just trying to be dirty. You know what I'm saying? That's
smart.
all right.
He was getting smart about
I wasn't even mad at dude.
Yeah,
like I was mad at the ref and this dumbass nigga.
Yeah. I got you.
I didn't care about dude. Like who? So he got me. Like that nigga good for him.
He got me.
It didn't bother me.
But like, come on, like, coach, I'm telling you what happened though.
Exactly.
I'm telling you what happened. Like,
video.
You can see that
We're
shit.
talking about this yesterday.
Like, goddamn.
So that shit.
And I was talking about this guy here, Gene Chizik. Let me see. Gene Chizik. This cat was he was my coach when I was at Iowa State. Oh, he got another Gene Chizik story. Oh, let's do this.
And it is with great pleasure.
I was at Iowa State when this happened, and so it was so crazy because I want to say my man Gene Chizik had probably just got an extension and everything. Said he wasn't leaving, all of that jazz, which was crazy because he probably was one of the most out of all of the teams that I ever played on. He was probably one of the coaches that I would say the actual team hated the most. Like the team, if he would have told us that he was leaving, we would have been so excited for that. But he didn't. He told us he was staying, and then, so people was really upset when they found out he was actually leaving.
Gene Chizik. Gene?
I've got all the ADs in the country in my cell phone, and so when I saw Jay Jacobs come up on my cell phone, I knew he wasn't calling me to go play golf.
This is a very special day in my life. And Jay, I want to tell you this, I can assure you, you hired the right guy.
I knew that Gene was going down there to interview on Thursday. I had a voicemail from Gene on Thursday night telling me he wasn't taking the job.
So when you ask, after 23 years, where's your final resting place? And I say that I'm blessed because I'm standing up here 4 years after I left at the best place I've ever been.
I spoke with Gene on Friday morning. He told me he wasn't taking the job. He was going to call them and say he's out.
At the end of the day right now, what I do know is that this was the right hire for Auburn.
I told him on Friday night, you can go do that. You don't maybe ever have to talk to Jamie Pollard again or think about Iowa State again. But I thought, based on what I know about you, that you couldn't do that.
Again, it's a dream job for me because I understand this place.
Am I mad about it, disappointed? Do I feel he betrayed me? I don't know. You know what? At this point, I don't really care because he can't help me win or lose another football game.
Hey, I was there for this. Let me see. You can't even get it. Interesting. I never saw that clip, but Iowa State lore for sure. What was interesting about this was, and it was funny because this guy, I was talking about this yesterday, how I like this new podcast from Raw Room. I think it's Darren Bates, and he was talking about Gene Chizik, and it took me back because like I said, one of the craziest coaches that I ever had, one of the most hated coaches that I ever been on a team with, and the way that he left our organization was so crazy because I think you hear about this, like you hear it from athletes all the time when they say they found out they got traded on ESPN. You look at the ticker, or you found out like you got cut, or something happened to you, and you find out from the ticker. And that's how we found out that he was leaving. I think like shortly before that, there was he signed an extension, and so folks thought he was staying around. And then what ended up happening is we go, I don't know, I remember I'm in the cafeteria and we sitting in there having, and the TV is there, and then it says Gene Chizik goes to Auburn, and we like, whoa, what the fuck? What did that just say? And we try, you know how the ticker works is it just goes and you got to wait through and get all the way back around. So we start gathering in. There's more and more people. We watching the ticker go back around, go back around, go back around, and then it finally lands back on. We see that my man left.
I knew that Gene.
And so it was funny for me because we then had like this emergency team meeting, right? And in the team meeting, my man Chizik was coming to like address us and tell us that he was leaving. He wanted to do it in person. So in typical fashion, I'm a little bit late to the team meeting, and as everybody's in there and our whole team is ready for him to come in because they finna let him have it. I promise. This is their moment. Folks was prepared. They had speeches ready. They was hoping he was going to sit there and they was going to rip this dude. I'm coming around the corner, and so it's like you go up the steps, and right when you get to the steps, there's a door. All right. And so I am coming, everybody's inside. I'm a little bit late, so I'm coming up the steps, and he's coming from this way, about to walk into the door, and we like face to face each other, and he like, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. And I'm like you on some bullshit. So we go inside. I go inside. He come in behind me. We in there. A man gets in front of the whole team. Everybody hot. They finna. He's like, wait a minute. Let me say something first. And then he says something along the lines of like, you know, I really appreciated y'all here, and no matter what, I'm gonna be a Cyclone forever. And then, but that's the way he ended it. Was he gave his speech, and then he said Cyclones forever, and chunked up the deuce, and then spunt out, and then walked straight out the door. And I never forget it, because as he's walking out the door, the whole team is in the like bleachers like, hey, wait. So everybody was hyped because they thought like, okay, this is our moment. We finna get on his head. And he just hit us with the Cyclones forever and spunt out. And then nobody ever got to really, they didn't get to chastise him the way that they wanted to chastise him in that room. But this was a strange man. But I think it's come out with a lot of these coaches that they all have they kind of like weird quirks about them, and in the way that they really looked at players and the way that they felt like they needed to talk to you to motivate you. A lot of these coaches have this thing where they gotta bring you down and they gotta break you in order to like hopefully that you then, I don't know, bounce back or get upset. I remember my first game at Iowa State, had a pretty solid game, right? Had a little pass breakup, probably should have been interception, had some tackles, I was on a kickoff return, had a pretty solid kickoff return, hit him with the I was doing my thing. I was hyped. I was proud of myself. And I remember like the next day I'm walking in the hallway between, it's like where the gym is, where our locker room and stuff is. So it's a training room on this side, locker room, weight room, all of this stuff. And then you go out to where like the meeting rooms and all that stuff is. And I'm coming down this way, he's coming down that way. And it's a weird dynamic because during my recruiting process, like I talked to this guy on the phone for like hours. I'm talking about not like literally a long time, like was burning my minutes off my phone. And oh man, I'm just, I just can't wait for you to get on campus. And it was so funny because by the time I then got to campus, like never heard from him. You know what I'm saying? Never had a one-to-one personal conversation. And then so this time in the hallway was like really the first time that I had spoken to him, just me and him. And as I'm walking through the hallway, I just had a pretty solid game. We actually ended up losing the game that we should have won. We're at Iowa State. We were playing Northern Iowa, which is 1AA at the time. And he says to me, hope you don't think your shit don't stink just because you had a little bit of success. You know what I'm saying? You still got a ways to go. And then just walks off. And I'm like, damn, like what I do to deserve this? You know what I mean? And I don't know. It threw me off. It weirded me out with that situation. I feel like there's probably one other conversation that I ever had with him that like went positively. And it was basically him telling, well, it was two. Might have been two. One where he was basically telling me like, you know, I got a career in doing something else after football. We used to do these, it's called like Iowa State road shows. And like in the off season, you get selected to go to these different places over the state, Iowa. And then they'd have like a carnival, it'd be our team there, and it'd be like hyping up all the different athletes and all that jazz. And it was like, I feel like all of this stuff I got on video. I should try to find it. But what I would do is I grab the mic and then I'd introduce. So we have our certain players there, and I'd be like, yo, at quarterback, we got such and such. Over at wide receiver, we got such and such. And then like just hype it up. It's your man, AB the hero. Oh, we in the building, right? And imagine this, like in my head, and I'm probably misremembering this, but you were imagining it like this. We're in like this like rodeo style situation, like a barn or like your state fairgrounds. That's more of an accurate picture. Remember the state fairgrounds, like an indoor thing, and there's Iowa State stuff all over there. There's players, we signing autographs, all that stuff. And then so it's hundreds of people. I'm in there like, oh, on the mic. And so then I believe I even introduced him potentially. And it was funny because similar thing. I feel like it's there. He comes up to me and is like, yo, whenever this is over, you got like a career in being a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like when the football stuff don't work out, you got a career in doing X, Y, and Z. And I was like, I appreciate it, bro, but it was a bit of a slight. What's up, my man? Hoop Jargon in the building. What's up, my guy? I'm talking some of these old college stories, man. My man Gene Chizik here. And let me see. There was that time where he said that to me. And there was a time in his last season that he was there. I got moved to, we had some bumps and there was some bumps in the roads. Folks was bumping heads. And there was a time in my second season in which they were trying their hardest, especially going into the season, to like get me out of the paint. And what I mean by that is my first season there, I started all 12 games. They brought in some younger guys and they were trying to get them in and then get me like, I feel like I never knew that they did this before, but it happened to some guys who I play with where like they just won't dress you sometimes. So we have a game and you'd have a guy who played significant minutes the week before, and then this game don't even like get the suit up, like don't travel with the team or nothing. And so I felt like they were trying to create a situation where they could do that to me. But one of our, hold me the story, the game is real. Yeah. One of our, like our special teams coordinators, he just would not let them do that, right? I was on the punt team. This is the only minutes that I was pretty much getting is punt team minutes. And they took me off the starting lineup. Damn, I wasn't even in a rotation like that. And that was what I was getting. And so I remember the special teams coach, like in the hallway, just challenging me like, bro, like, I don't know if you noticed, but you did something. You pissed people off. Like they trying to get you up out of here. I got to fight my ass off to get you to keep you on the field. You know what I'm saying? So don't embarrass me. And I think that to me, it showed me two things. There's like a sense when you're a coach, you have to figure out the ways to motivate your players, and you have to figure out the ways. You have to figure out ways to motivate each individual player in a different way. So like a man like Chizik, he thought the way that he could motivate you is by like shitting on you, is talking trash on you. I'm talking about, I heard the man say one time to somebody like, oh, your brother, but be disappointed in you. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. oh, you gonna go back home? What did he say? It was like, what you gonna do when your wife cheat on you and then you got a son and you just gonna quit on them? Your son gonna have a disability and I'm talking about random shit like that, just going off. And I think that the brother thing I might be mixing up with a story I heard from the folks over at Kansas. So different stuff. But I was saying that earlier to say, like, I guess I thought this was just an isolated incident, but I think a lot of these coaches do the same thing. They have the same rhetoric. But I say all this to say, my special teams coach, when he spoke to me in the hallway and he kind of challenged me in a way of being like, yo, you gotta show up because I'm challenging you. I'm putting my name on. I don't know. He did some shit. He got me hyped. And I remember we came out, and this is my only minutes as punt team. And I remember in the most, like, I don't know, crazy way, I was like unstoppable on punt team, right? We punt that shit, and the dude was trying to gun and hold me up, and I'm by him, out of here. Faster than I ever probably ran on the field. And the dude I remember from Kansas, he's like, damn, bro, how fast is you, man? You got to be running a 10.5, 10 something. What's your 40 time? He was kind of there. And then the same thing happened where I saw this guy, Chiz, and he was like, for the first time in 2 years, you look like a D1 athlete for the first time. He didn't even say a D1 athlete. He said, you look like a D1 special teamers. And I was like, Nick, leave me alone, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's just that type of rhetoric or coaching stuff. I don't know. It just don't work for me. I'm not that guy.